One of the first things I'll usually do when I get into Camera Raw and I'm working on a photo is I set the white balance. Okay, there's a lot of tools, there's a lot of different things you can do. Me personally, and most of the people that I know, will typically start in the basic panel and we'll start with working on the white balance here. Okay, a couple of different ways that you could go about this. One of the first ways is if you're photographing somebody, and this is typically in the studio, more of a portrait environment, you can have somebody hold a gray card. Okay, now this is a card it's got a white point, it's got a black point, it's got kind of a medium gray, but what you're really looking for, if you're going to get technical about it, is an 18% gray point, which is what this little color swatch or non-color swatch is right over here. That's about 18% gray. Personally, I don't really care as long as it's a gray point. So I'm going to get very, very similar results whether I click on this light gray or this darker gray. Either way, as long as it's a gray point, I'm good with it. Now, what you can do is you go up here to the top menu here, and there's a white balance tool. Okay, it's an eyedropper. All you do is you take it and you click it on it. But before I click on it, I just kind of want to show you what we're looking at here. Right next to it is just a color sampler tool. Honestly, there's not really many times where you would use this tool inside of Camera Raw. So I'm not really going to cover it because I don't ever use it and I don't see anybody use it. It's kind of a legacy tool. However, just to show you, it's a color sampler. So if I move it over this target right over here, take a look right up into the top corner, RGB, red, green, blue. So red and green are almost the same. 2011, 2007, pretty close, right? See how off blue is? See how low it is? Well, if this were a neutral gray point, they would all be the same. Red, green, and blue would be exactly the same as each other. Okay, so this means, and you can kind of already tell that blue is low, so the photo must be warmer or more yellow than it should be. So I can go here, take this little eyedropper. I don't have to worry about the sliders or anything. All I got to do is click, and you're going to see that temperature slider moves over toward the left, right? I'll click now. Okay, do you see it move over? See now RGB, they all equal each other. 2003, 2004, they're pretty much the same. Okay, so that neutralized the photo, that neutralized any color cast on the photo. You can see, all right, let's go over here and I'll undo Command or Control Z and I'll just click again. So you can see the difference here. All it did was move the temperature and the tint sliders. So that's one way that you could color correct is if you have somebody hold up a neutral gray card of some sort, you'd have that white balance eyedropper. You just click in on the little spot there and you're good. Now, I showed you all that because that's the technical way that you can go and you can white balance. Of course, I don't even need to use the eyedropper. I could have just, if the temperature was over here, I could have just moved the temperature over until I said, that looks pretty good. Okay, eyeballing it, saying I like the way it looks this way. Or I could have chosen any one of the white balance presets. Now, technically, that's correct. But so much of white balance, and the reason why I'm including this kind of afterthought on it, is that so much of white balance is a creative choice by the photographer. Okay, technically, I can come over here and I can click on that gray point. Technically, this is a color correct photo. But creatively, is it what you want? Okay, creatively, I would say, to me, it's got a very bluish type of a feel to it. It's got a very cool feel. I kind of like my portraits warm, so personally, I would color correct it, and then I would come over here and drag my temperature slider over toward the right a little bit and just warm it up. That's just me personally because I happen to like it warmer. Take a photo like this. Okay, we'll come over here. Let's convert it to the latest process version, and I'll open up the shadows, open up the exposure a little bit. But you come over to something like this, what's the correct white balance? Okay, you're not going to go put a gray card into a photo like this, but what's the correct white balance? I mean, I could come over here and I could say, well, I'm going to go keep it blue, maybe bring out some of the magentas and the sunset and everything, and I get a certain look this way. Or I can take my temperature slider over here toward the right, bring my tint slider back over a little bit, okay? And I get a totally different look just by moving a couple sliders. See the difference? So what's right? I mean, it really is. It becomes a creative choice by you at this point. There's no governing body that says this is the right white balance for your photo. There is a way you can find the technically right white balance for your photo, but it doesn't always mean it's the right thing. So I guess my whole point of all this is just understand your white balance controls are over here. You can use the eyedropper if there's something that you know is a neutral gray in the photo, or sometimes I just click on something that looks gray, something that should be gray in the photo, whether it's somebody that's wearing a grayish shirt or even a white shirt or a cloud in the sky or something like that. I just click on what looks gray. It gives me a good starting point, but 9 times out of 10, I take that starting point and I come back over here to the sliders and I kind of tweak them a little based on my taste and what kind of feeling. Am I going for a cooler type of feeling or a very warm feeling with the photo? I'll tweak those sliders based on what I'm looking for that specific image.